Which city is like overrated when it comes to the bar scene right now?
Delhi hasn't evolved in the past couple of years, and unfortunately, the excise policy has not been supportive of the same.
Have you ever walked out of a bar after seeing the menu?
Yes,
Which spirit category do you think is the next big thing in India?
rum.
Not tequila?
It was already a big thing.
One bar in India you think is all hype, no heart. One table, too much chatter and zero rules. This is Table for Two with Vikrant Batra, where the food's hot, the guests are hotter, and the vibes always well done. हेलो वेलकम टू टेबल फॉर टू विद विक्रांत बत्रा। आज मैं होस्ट हूं और क्वेश्चन पूछने की बारी मेरी है। नॉर्मली लोग मेरे से क्वेश्चंस पूछते हैं मेरे बारे में, माय जर्नी एंड अबाउट कैफे डेली हाइट्स, बट नाउ द टेबल्स हैव टर्न्ड एंड आई एम द वन हु विल बी आस्किंग ऑल द क्वेश्चंस, एंड इट इज़ अ वेरी स्पेशल moment because Cafe Delhi Heights is completing 14 years, 14 flavorful years of food, fun and crazy stories. Can you believe it? That it has completed 14 years. It seems like yesterday to me. And today, joining me is a very special guest who doesn't know what's in your glass, but he probably designed it. A storyteller, a bar whisperer, a drink consultant, and someone who's been in the F&B game long before we knew what mixology even meant. The co-founder of Talliho, Vikram Achanta, is with me today.
Thank you, Vikrant. Thank you. Pleasure to be here. And congratulations on the 14 flavorful years. May there be another 14 or at least a multiple of that.
Thank you so much. Vikram, a small token of welcome for you.
Thank you, Vikrant.
Now we start with the section 1, warm-up and journey. Vikram, how's life? Cocktail shake हो रही है या थोड़ा neat चल रहा है?
Life's good, Vikrant. Can't complain. It's been an exciting few years, definitely of late. So I would say cocktail shake ho rahi hai.
Cocktail shake हो रही है. How's work, travel, Talliho? What's been keeping you excited lately?
Well, this is our 25th year of Talliho. We began
Wonderful.
in 2000, so it's our silver anniversary. And we've tried to definitely mark the occasion by launching more pieces of intellectual property around the bar and hospitality industry in this year. In February, we launched the India Bartender Week along with Youngdup and Meenakshi of Sidecar. And last month, we had the India Drinks Retail Awards. So this year has already been a very action-packed year till date. And I'm looking for a little bit of downtime here.
Wow, a great silver anniversary. Many congratulations. Let's rewind a bit. How did Talliho begin? Back when nobody really talked about bar consulting.
Well, it began around a dining table in a friend's house in Vasant Vihar. We were drinking some Bushmills Irish whiskey in 1999, and I used to work as a consultant back then with IBM. We, as friends normally do, we thought about what we could do differently, and we said, let's write bar reviews, because at that time, alcohol in India was a very taboo subject. People didn't really talk about drinks, bars, drinking out. So we felt it was time for the normal consumer to be able to find out what's a nice bar to go out to in the evening. So it began really as a passion project and as a hobby. The name came to us at that point in time, talliho.com. So we felt it was too good a name to give up on.
You guys got Tully and you kept the name?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
You came into this space when bartending wasn't even taken seriously. What made you take this leap? You thought there's enough demand that people will be taking consulting for the bars?
When we began in 2000, the initial business model, because we turned it into a business in 2000, the initial business model was thought of as an online model for companies to come and advertise. But then the dot-com economy went through a certain bust-up period, and we had to pivot our business model. And all the co-founders came from a non-alcohol or non-F&B background. I think it was advantageous to have that outside-in perspective on the industry. And when we began interacting with the brand managers of different liquor companies, we saw the opportunities that were there where we could possibly play a role. And we saw that advocacy and knowledge-focused activities were a big area which were very nascent. But we said, let's concentrate on that. And that's something that we've built on through the years.
That's wonderful. Yeah. You've seen the bar world change completely. From old monk and coke to smoked Negronis and turmeric gins. What's one trend you wish had never happened?
Clarification, because nowadays everything's clarified.
Oh my God. Well, I would say that thoughts have to be clarified, rest everything will fall in place. Now we move to the section 2, the business of booze. Be honest, are most restaurants actually doing justice to their bar menus? या सब शोशा चल रहा है, ड्रामा चल रहा है?
I think things have changed dramatically, and we began 30 Best Bars in 2019 because my partner and I saw the way bars and bar menus were evolving. At that point, India didn't have a single bar on the world's 50 or Asia's 50 best bars list. We thought that was a big gap, and we thought if we create a platform which would help profile and project Indian bars, it would give greater visibility to what was happening in the bar scene. Since that, we've now finished 5 editions of 30 Best Bars.
Wonderful.
And we've seen fabulous transformation in the bar industry in terms of bars and restaurants. And not just in the Tier 1 locations, but in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities are continuing to surprise us with the sophistication evolution of the bar menus there.
We've been successful in Tier 2 and Tier 3. So, I mean, thank you for bringing a platform for people to recognize not only food, but the bar scene, which is getting more powerful and powerful.
Right.
Do you think Indian drinkers today understand what they're drinking, or are we just ordering that sounds cool?
Well, we've seen the evolution of the Indian consumer over the last 25 years, and earlier they used to be extremely brand conscious, very focused on the label. But lately, in the last few years, there's far more consciousness about what's behind the label, what's actually in the bottle, what's the quality of the spirit, what kind of ENA is being used, what botanicals are being used. So increasing curiosity is there amongst the consumer at the moment about the liquid itself.
That's how picante became the new shikanji. Huh? What's one rookie mistake people make when they try to make cocktails at home?
They don't measure the drinks.
That's important. Yeah. They just want the high.
Yeah.
And on that note, what's worse, over smart customer at the bar or owner who thinks they know more than the bar consultant?
I think the owner who thinks that they know more than the bar consultant. If you've hired a professional, then give them some leeway.
Yeah. You know you've designed it for me. I didn't poke my nose ever. Okay, we move to the section 3, fun and slightly controversial. Let's do some quick fire truth bombs. What's one spirit that's totally overrated right now?
That's totally overrated right now. I'll have to think about it because they're all my clients.
Do you feel social media has ruined the bar game a bit? Like, are we making drinks for likes and not for taste, only for the pictures?
I think it's a double-edged sword, and although, as you mentioned, it can play a role in people being more focused on that on the gram rather than the actual drink. On the other hand, it's increased the popularity of cocktails tremendously. So awareness has increased, and people say, "I want to have what she's having." So why not? It's a good start.
It's a good shout out for the real drinkers and not the real drinkers. Okay, classic mojito or Instagrammable blue sparkle lavender fog drink with 6 ingredients nobody can even pronounce.
Classic mojito for sure.
What percentage of bars do you think actually follow the hygiene and good practices? I feel it's not more than 50% doing it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Definitely. Yeah.
And I think hygiene is a very, very important thing. Absolutely. Very, very important thing. Vikram, what do you think about the emerging Indian liquor brands, Indian alcohol, beer, gins, tequilas, everything? What is your take on that? I feel that the aging gets faster in India, and this is where the international market struggles. And do you actually feel simultaneously that the cocktails do equally taste better, equally good or better, rather than the international brands? What is your take on the Indian brands?
I think what's been surprising for me and pleasantly surprising is the increased risk taken by entrepreneurs in the Indian alcohol space, whether it be, say, spirits or beer. We've seen in the last 2 years in particular a lot of very interesting spirit categories and brands launch. For example, India's first absinthe, India's first vermouth, India's first aperitivo style spirits. These are very nice nascent categories where entrepreneurs are taking leaps of faith. I was in Goa last week and I visited not one but 2 greenfield distilleries by 2 different entrepreneurs. One focused on rum, one focused on gin. So I'm very, very heartened by this trend, and the Indian consumer, as I mentioned, has also evolved and is giving far more credence now to buying an Indian brand with pride rather than just necessarily following and buying an international brand.
Well, that's a great news for the Indian market.
Yeah.
And now I would welcome Sarthak Batra, he's not just my nephew, but a trained mixologist, co-founder of Ikigai, and someone who believes a cocktail can change your mood, your evening, and maybe your life too. Sarthak Batra in the house.
Hi Vikram,
Hi,
how
Sarthak.
are you?
Very good, thank you. All well.
So I've got a few questions that I'm going to ask you, and I also have a few questions which I haven't prepared actually. So it'll kind of be like on the spot, but we like try to make it fun.
Sure.
So to start off with, so like India का bar scene आजकल like boom पे है, but according to you, do you think which city is like overrated when it comes to the bar scene right now?
Is overrated? Delhi hasn't evolved in the past couple of years, and unfortunately, the excise policy has not been supportive of the same. So, I think other cities have progressed beyond Delhi at the moment.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I mean that's a good take on that. Which spirit category do you think is the next big thing in India?
Rum,
Okay, not tequila,
because already a big thing.
but why rum? Because like it's a healthier alternative as well because of sugarcane or anything like that or something else.
Well, I think definitely India has very strong historical roots to sugarcane. From a country perspective, that's a crop which is native to us. India has a very strong base when it comes to rum and rum production. About a 45 million case market for rum, primarily dark rum. The Indian consumer is ready to be evolved because they've evolved in most categories now when it comes to alcohol. They moved up the ladder, and I think they're definitely open to more choices when it comes to the rum category. India is a leader when it comes to spice, so spice rum, flavored rum comes to mind naturally. So a lot of potential opportunities for growth in the category.
So would you think there's more scope for Indian-based brands when it comes to rum because of spice, or more towards Caribbean or the Cuban links to it?
I think more towards Indian rums to start with, because also from a price perspective, it won't be that forbidding as compared to bottled in origin products
Got it.
because of the customs duty. So it'll be an easier start, at least on the ladder of from the consumer perspective.
Okay, perfect. Do you think mixologists are finally getting their due credit, or do you think abhi bhi like the chefs are stealing the limelight?
No, I definitely think top bartenders are coming into their own. One very healthy trend in the last couple of years that far more bartenders are now becoming bar owners, have stakes in the business. Earlier it was just young look, but now we have a range of people across the country where Pankaj Balachandran, Arijit Bose, Avinash Kapoli, Mayur Marne, Chetan Gangan are all people who have substantial stakes in the business and have open bars of their own, which is a great trend. Also, bar owners are giving their top mixologists and bartenders far more freedom when it comes to the bar program.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so this is kind of a fun one. So, what's the worst drink you've tasted so far, but it's something that you curated for a place but didn't say anything because your team made it?
I think it was I'm trying to remember now. I think it was a drink which was a margarita style drink which we had done for an outlet in Goa some months ago, and that didn't work out the way we wanted it to be. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So you build restaurants, bars, and even an entire consultancy around them. But according to you, what makes a bar truly unforgettable? Like the design, the music, or simply the cocktails?
I think most Indian bars at the moment are very strong when it comes to the hard aspects of the bar. What Indian bars can do far better at is the hospitality and the service aspects of it, because that's what truly brings soul to the bar and what brings the customer back. The customer is not necessarily going to come back for an awesome tasting cocktail. They're going to come back for the people behind the bar, how they were dealt with, how they were interacted with, and the feeling that they got when they left the bar.
Okay, lovely. So these are the questions that I already like had prepared for.
Cool.
So I've got just two more questions which I
Sure.
thought like I can also learn from as well at the same time. One of them is like a bit fun towards the fun element. So you have to have your last drink ever. Which one would it be?
Champagne.
Champagne? Just a straight up champagne.
Absolutely. Veuve Clicquot, yellow label is good with me.
Okay, lovely. So usually, like for me personally, vodka was like the first spirit that I had, because I believe a lot of people do start off with it because it's odorless, tasteless, or whatever.
Right.
What was the first drink you ever had?
Would have been dark rum.
Dark rum?
100%. Our generation is
Yeah.
Old Monk, Coke, Thumbs Up. Simple.
Okay, perfect. And so in India, we learn a lot from the Western culture when it comes to food as well, when it comes to cocktails, and we get inspired by it too.
Right.
And vice versa as well. What's one thing that you would give to the Western countries, or the change towards the Western culture and send it out from India to change something about the cocktails? And what's one thing that you would get?
I think one thing that we can definitely offer to the West, and which people are already learning from, is the wealth of ingredients that we have in our backyards in terms of the herbs and spices that we have. Whenever we have international bartenders who come into the country, they're fascinated with some of the spices and the flavorings that they encounter, and would love to have them back in their home countries. The shortage, unfortunately, of a lot of liqueurs, Amaro, vermouth is a big drawback that we have in Indian bars, and we definitely hope that we find more such brands in the Indian bar shelves to give our mixologists more variety when they're playing with cocktails.
Well, perfect. I couldn't have put that better as well. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarthar. Thank you so much. So, Vikram, we move to the next section. You've known us and Cafe Delhi Heights for a while. What's your honest view on the kind of food and drink experience we've been able to build?
I think it's amazing, Vikrant. You were telling me a little bit about your origins of the business 14 years ago, and how you've grown now to 45 outlets across the country. It's not an easy business to be in. I shouldn't be the one telling you this. I can only imagine what it's taken to get to this point, and to get the love of the consumer every day who coming back as a loyal customer to you is tremendous. So hats off to you.
Thank you. Ever had a drink at Cafe Delhi Heights and thought, okay, ये थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया. ये कौन सा ingredient डाल दिया भाई?
No.
And if you had to remove one dish from CDH menu because it's either too unhealthy or just overrated, what it would be?
I probably don't know enough about the menu to be able to comment on that.
They need to come again
I
and
need to come
again.
yeah.
So Vikram, we move to our next section, which is my favorite, and I have a beautiful hamper for you. If you give me all honest answers, this hamper will be yours.
Okay.
Okay. Most annoying drink order at a party.
Give me anything that's blue.
Spirit you secretly dislike.
I love them all, actually.
Delhi versus Bombay bar scene. Who's winning?
Delhi.
Have you ever walked out of a bar after seeing the menu?
Yes.
One bar in India you think is all hype, no heart.
No comment.
One cocktail you could drink every week without getting bored.
A Negroni.
Wow. Last time you got tipsy at a tasting session.
Last night at Sarava in Goa.
Ah, that was fun. So you have definitely won the rapid fire.
Thank you.
Vikram, I'll request you for a small gesture. Can you sign this mug as a memento for us?
Okay.
Thank you so much. This goes on our wall of fame.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, before I let you go, you can ask me one question which you've never asked and you always wanted to ask.
What's next for CDH, Vikrant? How do you see your journey in the next 5 years?
We've been blessed and there has been a lot of opportunity-based expansion happening. And our target is 120 outlets by 2028, giving better, more experience to our customers pan-India. And global openings are also on chart. We're just looking for great opportunities. There are opportunities coming, just strengthening ourselves to go global also. And we have you on the side, so definitely there's no stopping.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, brother, for joining us.
Pleasure.
And this session must have educated people that what we do and why we do and how we are able to do it. And thank you so much for bringing the Indian bar scene, bringing it international, cheering the highest authorities in the world so that people can recognize what we guys are doing. Thank you so much, Vikram. It was a great pleasure having you over.
Thank you for having me, Vikrant. Thank you.
Thank you.